This is just the whims, making another video for you guys. I'm here to make a video about the black churches nowadays in the black community. Like I said, I'm not talking about all black churches in the black community. I'm talking about most of them. They are very lacking self-responsibility. And most of these black churches are very hypocritical nowadays. It's not the same anymore. And you got a lot of these black pastors out here are giving sex to women and stuff like that. You got most of these black pastors are molesting children, which is a bad thing, and it's crazy in these black churches nowadays. And I think that most of these black pastors that do molest kids need to be sent to prison for what they do. So, and most of these pastors, most of these black pastors in these churches, they have wives at home or go to church with them, but they have sex with other women on the sly and stuff like that, which is so hypocritical. If you're not gonna be with your wife, tell her that instead of just having sex on the sly behind her back. And most of these women don't care if their husband cheat on them, and some of their wives do care when they cheat on them and they leave them, which is a good thing, and stuff like that. So, but most of these women that allow these pastors' husbands to cheat on them, I'm not proud of that. I think that marriage should be one woman and a man, and that's it. And what's so hypocritical about the black churches? You got a lot of these black women out here are washed. Some of these black women, not all, but some of these black women are washed up from having baby after baby and stuff like that. And they bring their 4 or 5 black kids to church with them with no man whatsoever. After they've been done through by Tom, Dick, and Harry, Pookie, and Ray Ray, and 5 men. They don't. Most of these black women don't create it. And you got most black men out here are having sex with 5 different black baby mamas and stuff like that, and baby mamas and stuff like that, which is sad, because I thought the church is supposed to be about spirituality, bringing people together. But it's not like that anymore, because you got some hypocritical people, most of these hypocritical black people are going to these churches telling you that don't have sex before marriage, but you were having sex before marriage. You had the nerve to tell us not to have sex before marriage, but you having sex before marriage anyway. Why you give me advice about that? Knowing that you don't have sex with women before marriage. When you go to church, some of you black men and black women, you telling us that, but you doing it on the slide. Very hypocritical. Don't get me wrong. AIDS and HIV and AIDS. If you have sex too much before marriage, you'll get AIDS. You'll get HIV and AIDS in the black community. You'll get HIV and AIDS for having sex too much without a condom. You'll get AIDS. You don't know how to get rid of it or nothing. I don't have sex before marriage. I don't do that. But most of these black people in these churches, they'll tell you not to have sex before marriage, but they'll have sex before marriage. Hypocritical in these black churches. And most of these black women in these churches, they'll send money to these mega church pastors and all of that to donate to their planes, mansions, and cars and all of that stuff, which is weird. It's black women that are doing it, not black men, but mostly black women. In these churches, they'll hooping, hollering, and all of this. They'll go around hooping and hollering, saying "Kumbaya" and all this stuff, but knowing that the black preachers, these black preachers are nothing but pimps to you, which is weird to me. Why are you hooping and hollering and stuff like that, knowing that you go to a church full of hypocrites? That hooping and hollering in church doesn't faze me because it's fake. Most of these black women in the church are hooping and hollering are fake and phony. You saying that God, you see that God, you telling your child that, God gonna get you what you want, but you hooping and hollering in the church every day without a father around, which is weird to me as a black, which is weird to me for most black women and most black men too. Just hypocritical, man. The church is not the same anymore. It's not really the same. But don't get me wrong, there's some churches out there that do help. They help the black community, that cares about the black community more. They really care deeply about the black community. They're helping them protest for justice, black on black crime, and all of this stuff. All the above, that's doing something that's good. They're doing something for the homeless. That's feeding the kids. They don't have no father. They're teaching some of these black male pastors are teaching their kids how to be men and all this. So they doing a good job. But you got some black women that pastors out there that are doing a good job too. They're helping people out, struggling, homeless, and all of that. So they doing a good job of doing it. But I'm talking about these black pastors out here, that are having sex with women on the slide. They claim to preach the word of God and stuff like that, but they're having sex on the slide with women, children, which is disgusting. They're doing all this stuff, which is nasty, which is disgusting in these black churches nowadays. They are having sex with multiple women on the slide. When they preaching the word of God, they are having sex with women on the slide. And most of these pastors, got HIV/AIDS. Man, most of these churches are hypocritical, man. Especially these Baptist churches. I don't know about other churches, but mostly Baptist churches. I'm not talking about all churches. My bad, I'm just spitting it out. I'm not talking about all black churches, but I'm talking about most of them. These pastors don't have good sense whatsoever. They don't practice on what they preach. All they do, they just want that money. Especially these mega churches. These mega churches and some small churches too, but mostly mega churches. Most of these mega churches get these $1,000 suits. They got all these cars. They got all these mansions. I think that most of these mega black pastors, are worse than these ignorant rappers are. They are just like them. All they care about is sex, money, and they're not bringing anything to the table in the church. They are worse than these ignorant rappers are. They are worse than they are. Because all they care about is materialism. Most of these mega black pastors are. All they care about is materialism. That's all they care about. They don't care about nothing else that's positive in the black community. What they should be doing, instead of just going around having sex with multiple women. And same thing you black women pastors too. You having sex with multiple men. You claim that you preaching the word of God, but you having sex with multiple men on the slide behind your husband's back. That's not good preaching. Preaching the word of God is practicing. It's something about spirituality. That's what pastor is supposed to do. It's helping others and preaching the word of spirituality and bringing people together as a whole. Not doing hypocritical stuff that you claim that you preaching about preaching the word of God. Because if you're doing hypocritical stuff behind the church, something wrong with you. Something wrong with you. You don't need to be a pastor. You need to be gone somewhere and get the real pastors in there. Because nowadays, it's weird to me that these pastors it's clueless, man. It's very clueless. Where same thing with Muslims, in the church. They're saying that they're telling us not to eat ribs, but you eating ribs on the sly. By you telling us not to eat ribs, but you eating ribs on the sly. Hypocritical, man. You got the hypocritical Christians. You got some hypocritical Muslims. They telling you things, but they do it themselves every day. Hypocritical, man. Very hypocritical about these religious people. Hypocritical, man. And very hypocritical between these religious groups. I'm not a religious person. I'm not. I'm just normal. I'm just an independent. So, they can't stand the independent thinker. They'll kick them out of the bus. They'll get pissed off at you and not speak to you again. You'll get disowned from the family and all the other stuff, so which is weird to me. But most of these churches nowadays are very hypocritical, man. They are very hypocritical in their own spirit of mind. They don't know what preaching to God. They don't know. They don't know what pressing what they preach is. Or none of that. You got Christians that do it. You got Muslims that do it. Catholics and evangelists and all that. They don't practice what they preach. All they do, all they worry about is sex, money, and making a millionaire profit for themselves. You know, that's all they worried about. You know, that's the reason why a lot of people just don't go to, a lot of these younger people don't go to church, period, because churches nowadays has changed into $1 million cult. It has changed. And you got most of these churches, they'll talk to you behind your back. They won't say nothing to your face, but they'll talk behind your back whatsoever. That's every church you go to. You know, for what I'm saying. Church is not about spirituality anymore. It's all about negativity. It's all about negativity, man. It's all about hypocrites, man. It's all about hypocritical negativity, man. That's what it's all about in the church nowadays, especially in these black churches. You know, stuff like that. You know, it's sad we don't have churches that have good pastors anymore. It's sad. It's sad that we don't. You know, whether you live in a big city or a small town, it's hypocritical pastors everywhere. They don't know anything about spirituality. They don't know anything about bringing people together. They don't know anything about helping anyone, because all they want to do is pimp people out of money. That's all they do in these churches. You know, most of these black churches nowadays are nothing but pimps. And these mega churches, man, are pimps. Because that's the reason why some of these some young black people like myself don't even go to. Don't get me wrong, I do go to church every now and then, but I don't get to the point where church is not really. And that's why a lot of black people are becoming more deists and atheists now. Because look at Christians. Look at these hypocritical Christians out here, man. They don't practice what they preach. You got good Christians out there. You got good Muslims out there. But I'm talking about the hypocritical Christians and Muslims. You know? Hypocrites. Churches nowadays are very hypocritical, man. Hypocrites, man. It's very funny, man, that if you're going to call yourself a Christian, do Christian stuff. If you're going to call yourself a Muslim, do Muslim stuff. Like I said, if you want to be a real Christian, try to live a Christian lifestyle. You know, if you're going to be a Muslim, try to live a Muslim lifestyle. If you are a Catholic or something like that, the Catholics are Christians, but if you live in, like I said before, if you want to live a Christian lifestyle, don't have sex out of wedlock. You know, be yourself. You know, don't be nobody else but yourself. You know, don't go around if you're a Christian that have so many kids out of wedlock and stuff like that. Don't tell us not to have sex before marriage. You follow what I'm saying? If you're real Christians out there that don't have sex out of marriage and you married, you know, give us some advice. Don't be a fake Christian and tell me everything that I don't know, that you have sex with 5 different kids out of wedlock. Don't give me no advice. You follow what I'm saying? Because that's hypocritical. It's not great. It's not spirituality. It's fake and phony. It's not a good look. But anyway, this is Justin Williams. You know, feel free to rate, comment, subscribe, and add me on Facebook. I'm out. Peace.